Greetings, guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Chayeza Mashele, and today I will be introducing you to one of my very favorite houseplants that I own. This is my Peace Lily. I got her as a gift from my husband a couple of years ago. I've had her for about 3 years now, and she's just been a complete joy as part of my collection of houseplants that I own. She is absolutely stunning and lush. I think she's at her best right now. I haven't had any really big issues with her. Um, if anything, the only challenge I've had with her is that she grows really fast. So at the moment, I actually have her in a biscuit bucket because I wanted to repot her because her root system had taken over the previous pot plant that I had her in. So I have put holes at the bottom of the bucket so that we don't get any root rot. But outside of that, she's doing very well. And I actually am liking having her in the see-through container because I'm able to visually see what is happening with her root system without needing to lift her out of the soil, because plants generally don't like having their soils and root system messed around with a lot. So this has been ideal for me because I can see the roots. I know exactly what is happening, which area is starting to get a bit root bound, but she's still good at this moment. There's no need to repot her anytime soon. So I think I'll wait until the roots in this pot are completely root bound, and then I will then get a bigger container or pot to put it in. Um, she's very easy to take care of. She hasn't had any pests on her. For me, I've been pest free, so we haven't had a struggle with that. The only issue that I do have is the browning and yellowing on the tips of some of the older leaves that are at the bottom of the plant, but that is not really something that should make you panic. It is normal, it does happen. And if the browning does upset you, or you really don't like the visuals of it, you can just trim the brown off. It will not affect the plant in a negative way. I'll just show you how to do that quickly. So what you want to do is get a clean pair of scissors, and just there where you've got the yellowing and browning, you can literally just cut that off like that, and she'll be fine. But for me, it's not really something that bothers me. I'm okay with her not being completely perfect. So unless I see a lot of it, then I'll do a little trim. But otherwise, I just leave it alone. So that is caused by either overwatering or underwatering. It's one of those where you need to actually take time out with your plant in order to figure out what is causing the browning and yellowing of the tips. But like I said, as long as your new leaves are growing in healthy and green, it's not something that should really bother you. Um, and then also, mine does tend to get very dirty quickly because she is placed next to the window, so she can get bright indirect sunlight. She cannot handle direct sunlight. The leaves will completely burn and turn a black color, which would then mean you need to completely remove that leaf because that leaf is not coming back for you. So for me, a general rule with most of my house plants, if I see a leaf that has either yellowed or is going completely brown, I just get rid of it because there's no point in having your plant wasting nutrients that it's sending to that leaf to try and assist it to stay alive. Rather, just get rid of it so your plant can focus on other leaves and bringing out new leaves for you. So, cleaning my peace lily, I just get a wet, clean cloth, and maybe not wet, but rather damp, and just gently wipe her down like that. Just hold her and gently wipe down, and that's it. That's all I do. Unless it's a day where I have a lot of time on me, and then on those days, I'll maybe take her outside and just completely hose her down, because she is rather big. So it's not something that I do regularly. And I'll also do it on a day where I know she then has enough time to air out, and that all that water then dries off the plant, because you don't want your leaves staying moist for too long, because that is where you then attract pests to your plant. So my plant is about to bloom. Um, she is about to bloom, which I'm really excited about. She did bloom last year around springtime as well, but those blooms actually turned out to be green, and I didn't like them. So I completely just chopped them down when they did open up, and I noticed they were green, because for me it was just pointless. And also the plant itself takes a lot of energy and time to produce flowers. So if your aim with your peace lily at this point in time is to get it to be bushy, as soon as you see her starting to flower, you can just snip those off at this point here. Hold on. You can just snip it off there at the point where the shoot is coming out of, so that she then has to refocus her energy on something else, like popping out new leaves for you, so that you can get a flower that is full like mine. But I don't need her to be any bigger than what she is currently. That is not my focus. So I will let her go into bloom this year. And I am hoping that my blooms will be white. We'll do an update with her once she does open up her flowers, so we can see what type of flowers she has produced for me this year. Another benefit with the peace lily is that she does purify the air for you. So she pumps out oxygen even at night. So it is a plant that you can ideally have in your bedroom, if the conditions in your bedroom do match with her requirements of what she needs in terms of indirect sunlight. I mean, sorry, yeah, indirect sunlight, I'm correct. So you can place her in a bed in the bedroom, so that she can assist you with getting you oxygen throughout the night while you are sleeping. um, Kiss Lily, also the nice thing about her is she generally does just bring that calming atmosphere with her where you've placed her. Mine is just as you get into my home in the kitchen. So she's one of the first plants that people see when they come in. And I think that's what I love about her. And because of how she looks, even when she's not blooming, especially if I have just recently cleaned her leaves, then she's just lush and with her glossy leaves, and no one misses her. So she is definitely a statement plant for you to have in your home. She does definitely get a lot of attention. Another thing that makes her an easy care plant is the fact that if you have not watered her and she is thirsty, she'll let you know. So she'll immediately droop her leaves. She's very dramatic with the drooping. So if you miss a day or two past what you normally water her, the leaves will immediately tell you that she now needs some more water. Um, I bottom water as well as top water her. So when I'm doing a bottom water, I'll get a big bucket, fill it with water, and then just drop her in there. And I'll leave her in there for about an hour or two, depending on what I'm doing. Sometimes I even leave her overnight, but the next day I then get her out and I put her back in her position to make sure that she then has time to get rid of all the excess water that she didn't use and that will not be staying in the pot. And because I have drained my hose right at the bottom of my container, this ensures that I get most of the water that is just sitting out so that my root system can air out. And I think that's what makes it easy for me to keep her. And then when I do water at the top as well, um, excuse me, I just wanted to get this. This is a bottle of water, and inside it is banana peels. So I will just drop a couple of banana peels in a bottle, fill it up with water, then the banana peels start to break down, and I use that to water all my house plants. They all seem to love it. um, so when I do water her, I water her just like that. You can actually see the water as it runs down into the container like that. It's dripping on the table, so you see. So my soil is very chunky and airy for her, because you saw how quickly the water actually ran down the root system. And I think that is also part of the reason of why I've been able to keep her alive. I water her at least once a week, especially now that it is warming up. We are heading towards our summer season, and it is getting very hot. Temperatures have gone up. So I am watering her a bit more often. So I found that if I do top water, as in just pour water in there, she dries out quicker compared to when I take her and dunk her in some water and let her sit for a while. Then I at least get maybe a week and a half in between waterings. So, depending on your schedule as well, because you don't want a plant that is going to constantly stress you out. If you are a very busy person and you're not always in your house and able to check on your plants, um, figuring out a watering system that is helpful and works for you and your plant is something that you will get right with trial and error. So, like I've said, with this Peace Lily, I use the system that I have time for on that day. So, say I walk past her and I realize the container is looking completely dry, there are no dark patches, then I'll just do a quick watering. But if I have time, I dunk in the water, let her sit in it, and then take her out. But outside of that, she really is easy to care for. um, she's happy, I'm happy. And then I also have this Peace Lily over here. This is a different um, variety to this one. As you can see, even their leaves are not the same. She's got more thinner leaves. Her leaves don't grow this broad, so it's not an issue of her being smaller. This is just how her leaves grow. I got this one from my mom's Peace Lily. I just took this section out. I am growing this one in a vase with some shells in it. So she's more for decoration purposes. Um, I'm not really concerned about how much she grows. She hasn't flowered. I think I've had her, yeah, I've had her longer than I've had my Peace Lily. The reason being, I actually got her first, and then because I wasn't really happy with her growth profile. And I think that is because I'm growing her in water and I've never used liquid fertilizer. And because for me, she's just for decorating. I'm not really concerned about whether she blooms or not. But this year she has been doing slightly better. I have moved her as well to a different position, which I think she is liking a bit more. So with her, I just top up the water. Usually my water level is about here. I have been neglecting her a bit, so I haven't topped out the water. I will do that for her. And I also usually completely take her out of the vase just so I can give her a nice rinse, because she is growing in class and the roots are exposed to sunlight. They are turning green. And as a way for me to just avoid the root system completely rotting off, I do need to keep the water clean for her. So, honestly, I don't clean her out as often as I should, but I'll definitely give her a clean after this video and give her some fresh water, rinse out the stones as well. If you look at the bottom of the vase, you can actually see all the dirt and buildup that is happening there. So I'll give it a rinse, take out the stones and shells, and give everything a nice clean and put her roots back in. I actually did trim her roots beginning of the year because her root system had just grown, and maybe that's why she's managed to put up a bit more leaves. So maybe I'll trim her root system again. The trick with trimming root systems is you don't want to. Let me just see if I can get her out the water so I can show you what I mean. So you can actually see where I had trimmed off her root system there. So her root system was about, say, here, and I just took half off and then I dunked her back in the water. So this one is not really a specimen that I would say I'm winning with, but she's alive and she looks great with the shells around her. So I'll just gently rinse her just now and then I'll plunk her back in and maybe just give her a trim to about there. Yeah, just about there, because I also don't want to, oh, sorry, I don't want to upset her too much by constantly cutting down her roots. So that's what I'll do for her, and clean her water as well. It doesn't smell bad, but it does almost have that fish tanky type smell because of the algae. So that's definitely another sign that tells me that she does need fresh water. So if you are looking for a plant that is gorgeous and will communicate its needs to you, I think a peace lily is definitely a plant that you can look into purchasing. There are different types, but they generally all follow the same rule of thumb. They all like bright indirect sunlight. And what bright indirect sunlight actually means, because it was one of the directions that I initially struggled with when I got plants. I'd put them right next to the window because I thought that's what it meant. But it's just a room that is naturally light. So one of the rooms in your home that does get light, and but you don't want to put her so close to the light that your leaves burn, because that can also cause your tips going brown. And this one here, I could see it on the camera. Let me see if I can catch it. This one here, yes, this one here has a hole in it, and that was completely my fault. So while I was wiping, the leaves are slightly delicate. So while I was wiping, I was probably in a hurry and just grabbed her a bit too rough, and the leaf broke and got damaged, and that's how I ended up with this hole here. So maybe also another tip would be to clean your plants on a day where you are a bit more relaxed and you do have the time and patience to be gentle with the leaf cleaning, so that you don't damage your own plant. by trying to get it done quickly, and then actually hurting the plant because you've now held it either too tightly or brushed it down too harshly and caused some damage. But other than that, there isn't really much to taking care of her. She also does like to be in a pot where she is kind of snug, so you don't want to put your Peace Lily in a pot that is too big. She does like to be in a snug pot. So even when I do repot her, I'll probably just go two sizes bigger than this for repotting purposes. But like I said, I'm not going to do that until I can completely see my root system is completely tangled together. And also, the benefits of you having a peace lily is that it really, I understand why it was one of those plants that got popular during the feng shui era. It does bring that calmness and um, smoothness type of aura to the room where you've placed it. So not only is it a beautiful plant to look at, it does have that aspect where if you are one of those people that love plants, it does have a very beautiful aura to it. So it's one of those plants that I definitely say each household should have. And if you're one of those people that have plastic plants, I think this is a plant that you could possibly start with, and you will find easy to manage. She doesn't have too many requirements. She's not very finicky. You can actually even grow her in a space that doesn't get a lot of light, but then you probably won't get blooms as often. But honestly speaking, mine has only bloomed once a year since I've had her. So it's not something where you can be saying you want her specifically for the blooms, because you only get blooms once a year. Well, that's been my experience with her. But the flowers do last a bit. They last just under a month. So you've got a peak time of just about 3 to 4 weeks, depending on how healthy your plant is, where she is in her best stage with the flowers. But other than that, she looks gorgeous either way. So I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you have any other questions, maybe you're struggling with keeping your peace lily alive, maybe you want to find out what to do next with yours. Also, if you maybe don't want to necessarily put her in a bigger pot, another idea is you could just remove, chop out half of your root system and then put her back in the same pot, or you can divide her because she does grow in clumps. So when you take her out of the pot, you would then have a situation where you maybe have 6, 7, 8, depending on how big your plant is, of these. And then you can just take out maybe a couple of sections, and then you have more than one peace lily, and then you can keep your original one in the same pot and then grow a few others, which is actually a good idea in case something does happen to your main plant, because I mean, plants do die. So it is another option that I'm considering, that maybe instead of repotting her, rather just get her a nice vase that I can fit this bucket into, and then I will maybe separate, and then I can maybe put one of the other ones that I take from the main plant in the bedroom or somewhere else in the plant, in the house, sorry. um sure. Oh, you can also gift her to another friend that also loves plants. She makes a beautiful gift. So there's a lot of different things that you can do with your peace lily, to avoid constantly having to repot her, because as I did say, she is a fast grower. And also, one thing I would make note of if you are finding problems with your root system is to check on your soil. So you want your soil to be fast draining. You don't want the water to just sit at the top once you have watered it. You want it to be able to run down to the bottom of the uh, vase or container, whatever you have your plant in, so that your plant soil gets wet but is not just stuck in constant water. Because as much as she likes moist soil, you don't want to mistaken moist soil as wet soil. Wet soil kills most plants. Not a lot of plants like being in wet soil. And of course, if you want to also, you can grow her in water like I've done with this one. The trick with growing in water, if you do want her to be slightly bigger and maybe flower for you as well, I think you would then need to invest in getting yourself some liquid fertilizers and adding them to the peace lily that you have got growing in water. I think that will then resolve the issue of it not growing big enough, lush enough, and flowering for you. So I think even with mine, if I do start maybe fertilizing the water, I'll be able to get some blooms out of her. As I said, it's not really something that I'm concerned with, but she is bringing up some new leaves there. If you can look at that. Where's that leaf? Here. There we go. So she is bringing out a new leaf. So when the leaves start out, they start out rolled up like that. And then as it opens, it unravels itself. And then you'll get a leaf, a nice leaf like that. So either way, I'm happy with them. And I do love both of them. They look great. Uh, so I'm going to go clean this girl up and then put her back in a spot where she belongs. I also then need to clean the vase for this one and plop her back in the water. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you have any questions or any suggestions, especially for those of you who are growing your peace lilies just in water. What are you doing to get them to bloom for you? What liquid fertilizers are you using? And if you have any tips or you are generally able to keep your roots from going green, please share that with me because, yeah, I don't like how the green roots look, but it's not a train smash. It's not a huge issue, but if you do know how to prevent that, do share it with me. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. We'll drop another one soon, and we'll definitely give you an update of this girl when she does finally open up her blooms for us. And thank you so much. If you are new here, please do subscribe. Thank you.